and the All Indiana Podcast Network. This is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update.
Hello, I'm Jeremy Jenkins, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 Podcast for Wednesday, February 12th. We begin with the news at the Statehouse, where lawmakers are set to hold the first hearing on a bill that would ban transgender women from competing on women's college sports teams in Indiana. The House Education Committee is set to debate House Bill 1041 this morning. It would expand the current ban on trans girls competing in girls' sports at K-12 schools to public and private colleges and universities. There have been no documented transgender women on women's sports teams at schools in the state. The committee's meeting is set to start at 8:30 this morning. Well, a state Senate committee has passed a bill that would force traditional public schools to share revenue from tax referendums with charter schools. News 8's government reporter Garrett Bergquist reports.
Right now, every cent you pay in property taxes that comes from a school tax referendum goes to your public school district, even if your children attend a charter school. This bill would change that. The bill affects any school corporation in which at least 100 students living within its boundaries choose to attend a charter school in the same area. Charter schools are free public schools, but they're not governed by elected school boards, and they don't currently receive property tax revenue from ballot measures.
It is simply unacceptable to me that a student who chooses a different public school than the one to which they are geographically assigned should receive thousands less in educational funding annually.
Rogers' bill would force school districts to share any property tax revenue they receive from a referendum with charter schools located within their boundaries. Dozens of Indianapolis public schools parents told senators the bill unfairly targets them.
Local taxpayers voted to invest in their public schools, not have that funding reappropriated to charters that already receive public funds and private investments.
IPS Superintendent Dr. Alicia Johnson says the bill could cost her district nearly $80 million by 2028.
This bill would guarantee the closure of at least 20 schools and the elimination of hundreds of jobs in our district. Additionally, because there are currently no limitations on the number of new charter schools that can be opened in our boundary, the dollars will continue to be more and more splintered until every school gets something, but no school gets enough to actually provide a high-quality service to students.
Charter school operators argue they produce better results at less cost. And they say it's not fair for them to lose out on tax revenue if they also are public schools.
60% of public school students within the IPS geography currently attend a charter school. All of that money is locked in a school district that serves less than 40% of public school students. There is an $8,000 funding gap between a charter school student and the school district. And finally, the majority of Black, Hispanic, and low-income public school students within IPS attend a charter school.
The bill now goes to the full Senate for further consideration. If it passes the Senate, it will have to go to the House. At the State House, I'm Garrett Bergquist for Wish TV, wishtv.com, or follow us on Facebook for updates.
The same Senate committee has also sent Governor Mike Braun's effort to hold down property taxes to the full Senate. We first brought this story to you on Wish TV Daybreak yesterday. Lawmakers passed Senate Bill 1 following amendments that remove several deductions. Supporters of the bill say revisions will cut projected revenue losses for local governments to about 1/3 of original predictions from the nonpartisan Legislative Services Agency. The governor says he will review the amended bill and looks forward to strengthening it in the full Senate and the House. Well, there's no comment so far from Indiana State University after the ACLU of Indiana has sued the school for not allowing a Pride Festival to be held on campus this year. IT-Mate's Cody Fisher reports.
The ACLU claims the university is violating the First Amendment rights of the organization that hosts Pride Fest by not allowing them to host it on campus. According to the lawsuit, Indiana State University has allowed the Pride Center of Terre Haute to host Pride Fest on campus in 2023 and 2024 with no issues. After last year's event, the center applied to have the event on campus for 2025. They reached out to the university multiple times but never heard back. In December, the lawsuit says the Human Rights Commission for the city of Terre Haute announced that Pride Fest would be held at a park a mile away from the university. That decision was made without talking to the Pride Center, who was throwing the event. The lawsuit claims the university's decision is directly related to the message conveyed by Pride Fest and represents a content and viewpoint-based denial of Pride Center's First Amendment rights.
Here is a public space where First Amendment activities can occur, and the university is saying you can't have your First Amendment activity here. It's very disconcerting when the government closes off a public space to First Amendment activities, and that's exactly what we think is going on here.
We reached out to Indiana State University for a statement, but have not heard back. For IT Man, I'm Cody Fisher for Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook for updates.
Members of the Black Church Coalition of Indianapolis say they will continue to push state lawmakers to bring more resources to their communities. Coalition members met with lawmakers as part of what organizers called Black Week at the Statehouse. The group says its 4 primary issues are universal preschool, property tax relief for seniors, funding for mental health, and gun violence prevention.
The politicians represent the people. Well, we're bringing the people to the politicians, and we're saying these are the things that we care about. So let's work on these issues together, because I believe we are better together.
The coalition also says it will continue fighting a bill in the House that makes sleeping in state parks a misdemeanor. Critics say the bill essentially criminalizes homelessness. Let's talk sports. A regular season rubber match for the Pacers and Knicks last night at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. The teams had split their first 2 matchups of the season. The Pacers had an early lead with Pascal Siakam taking a pass from Tyrese Halliburton and hitting a 3 midway through the first quarter. Siakam led the Pacers with 24 points, but Karl Anthony Towns countered with 40 for the Knicks. New York wins 128-115. The Pacers will head to Washington tonight to take on the Wizards. Well, it's been a rough few weeks for IU's men's basketball team, taking a major turn on the road against Michigan State. The Hoosiers have struggled to close out games, but Malik Reneau helped IU hold a second-half lead with the tough layup and the foul on the baseline. Reneau had 19 points off the bench as the Hoosiers upset the Spartans 71-67. IU snaps a 5-game losing streak and denies Michigan State coach Tom Izzo's effort to pass Bob Knight's record for Big Ten Conference wins. When it comes to the weather, Storm Track 8 says you can expect another cloudy start today and 2 active weather systems to follow. Meteorologist Ryan Morris has your News 8 Daily 8 forecast.
Yeah, literally every form of precip is on the table for today. It just depends where you live. Now, a word of caution this morning, nothing really appearing on Storm Tracker. There are some reports of patchy drizzle out there, and our temperatures are sitting near freezing to just below freezing in many sections. So watch out for any patchy freezing drizzle, because look at Storm Tracker right now, as I was mentioning, nothing appearing on Storm Tracker, but we are getting some ground reports. Otherwise, winter weather advisories in place north of I-70, along I-70 and north of I-70. Those are going to start this afternoon and run until tomorrow morning. Basically, they're in place not for snow in central Indiana. They're in place for the freezing rain, sleet chance. Right now, we're sitting at 29 degrees, 31 in Bloomington, and 35 in Kokomo. Broad look at Storm Tracker. Here is our storm system, and it's got a lot of moisture with it that's entering Illinois. We still have a couple more hours till the bulk of this moisture gets into Indiana. Showing that on Futurecast, northwestern Indiana will be the first areas to get in on some light snow showers. It's in the afternoon, mid-afternoon specifically. I think we'll have more precip around. That pink shading is freezing rain or sleet. That starts to enter the metro area, if not just north of the metro area, and basically remains through the entire evening. May inch a couple counties to the north, but overall that freezing line holding pretty steady. Today, I do think we'll climb above the freezing mark here in Indy, which helps in the afternoon. However, at the onset of moisture, like we're seeing this morning with some areas of patchy drizzle, anything would be freezing rain, and winds out of the east 5 to 10 miles an hour through the afternoon. There's plenty to dive into with this storm system, as well as the ice accumulation and snow accumulation expected. I'll have more on that coming up in my full forecast.
To get a peek at Ryan's full forecast, just head over to wishtv.com. Or you can download the Wish TV Storm Track 8 app. And don't forget to check out our Storm Track 8 weather blogs. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 podcast for Wednesday, February 12th. I'm Jeremy Jenkins for Wish TV, wishtv.com, or follow us on Facebook for updates.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go, connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.